This is part 2 of Native Americans in the Bible before America, where we go into scriptures to find out who the Native Americans were before they got to America. In part 1 we read in 2 Kings chapter 17 that the nation of Israel, once the most powerful nation in the world, were taken captive out of their homeland into the land of Assyria to be slaves in 721 BC. Now we looked 721 BC up on the internet and this is what it reads. In 721 BC, the Assyrian army, led by King Sargon II, conquered the northern kingdom of Israel and took many Israelites into captivity. Now if we go down here to where it says lost tribes, it says, the Israelites who were deported became known as the lost tribes, as they were scattered among various Assyrian cities and were never heard from again in the Bible. Now it says they're known as the lost tribes and they were never heard from again. But let's go into our Apocrypha. And by now we know that the Apocrypha are the 14 missing books in the Bible that were originally in the KJV 1611 version. Let's get 2 Esdras chapter 13 verses 39 through 45. And it reads, And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land at the time of Oshé the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely, of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth. Wow, so we just read that these tribes of Israel that were slaves in Assyria actually left Assyria and sailed away into a land called Arsareth. Now we're going to go into the Jewish Encyclopedia and look up Arsareth, and look at what it reads. It says, the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration. According to 2 Esdras, chapter 13, verse 45, Columbus identified America with this land. See Kaiserlinks, Christopher Columbus, translated by Dr. C. Gross. Page 15. We can actually get this book right on Amazon for $17. Now let's read a couple pieces out of it. This is on page 15. He was also very fond of reading the Bible and the 4th book of Ezra, which was probably written by a Jew who lived outside of Palestine. According to his own assertion, the incentive that implied him to plan his discoveries was not a love of science, but his interpretation of the prophecies of Isaiah. Now this is on page 96 of the book. A Portuguese Morano of Villaflor, who, strange to say, also called himself Monastinos, and afterwards assumed the name Aaron Levi, informed Manasseh that he had mingled in South America with Jews of the 10 tribes. So according to the scriptures and Chris, Arsareth is what we know now as the Americas, and who we know now as the Native Americans, Cubans, Jamaicans, Brazilians, Haitians, Colombians, and so on throughout the Americas and the islands, are actually of the 10 tribes of Israel of the Bible, who were here for over 2,000 years from the 700s BC to the 1500s before Chris came. Peace, fam.